Hello and happy Tuesday. My name is Wendy Lee, and you can find me at CreativeLeeYours.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. I'm very excited that you're joining me today for our paper crafting fun. Yay! So, if you are watching when this video premieres, today is Tuesday, August 27th. So, August is almost over, right? So many things going on, right? We have our final days to take advantage of the bonus day coupons, right? Did you earn bonus day coupons in July? If so, redeem them by the end of August if you haven't done so already. I hate for you to miss out on those free dollars. Yes, we also have a designer series paper, or what we like to call DSP, sale going on now, 15% off select designer series papers. So those are the ones in our annual catalog, which is the thick book, right? This one, right? So those are 15% off. So, and some new product just came back in stock. So if there was something you were wanting earlier this month and didn't get it, it's back in stock and you can grab those. Let's see, this is the last few days to also get your hands on the All-Star Video Class Tutorial Bundle featuring the Mediterranean blooms for free. Of course, you can purchase it in my tutorial store at any time, but you can earn it for free with a $50 or greater order before shipping and tax. So I'd love to gift that to you, right? I also have bingo registration going on now. Stamping bingo, super fun. We get together over Zoom, we play some games, we make some super cute cards, right? I got those behind me, some of those. So that is ending Saturday. Oh, so soon, right? So, of course, if you want to keep up to date with everything I have going on, the best way is to get on my email list. I do gift everyone on my email list a tutorial bundle that's exclusive that I don't share anywhere else every single month, right? So it's multiple projects, typically 10 to 12, sometimes a little more. And they're good projects, right? There's no skimping going on there, right? So you have a great set of projects that you can create with a wide variety of products. So always like to gift that to my subscribers. So oh, the last thing I want to bring up before we get to our crafty fun, of course, which is the purpose of today, is this is also a perfect time to join my Diamonds team. So if you would like to be part of the larger crafting community of my Diamonds team, we'd love to have you join us. It's full of friendships, full of fun. And of course, you get your hands on some new goodies early. Yes, 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 yes. We have a mini catalog starting September 4th, and we get to pre-order from it now, right? So you could add those goodies into your starter kit or just purchase them as you'd like to. So if you have interest in joining my Diamonds team, let me know and I'll help you get started with that. All right, let's switch over the camera and get to today's crafty fun. I'm doing something other than a card today, right? Surprise. I don't do that very often, but today we're doing a 3D project. All right, let's get started.
Okay, so today's project is going to feature the Sophisticated Sled Stamp and Die Bundle. Now, this is in our online exclusives and available while supplies last. So I love this one. It doesn't have like traditional Christmassy sentiments, but you could always pull in something Christmas if you wanted it Christmas. But I think it's got a fun wintry feel, and you could easily make this one Christmas if you wanted to. So today's project, we're going to make this really cool interlocking sliding box. So you slide the skates down and it opens up the box, and then it exposes, I've got a couple of the little Merci chocolates in there. So isn't that cute? Super fun. So we're doing a little 3D today. Yes? Fun, 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 fun. And of course, I'm featuring some new products that we have coming our way in the new mini catalog as well. So the designer paper is called Regal Winter. And then the ribbon is called, it's a textured ribbon, but it's a Blackberry Bliss and Gold textured ribbon. Really, really nice. So these, the ribbons and the designer papers will be part of the product share that I will be offering for the new catalog. So that registration is going on now. I'm also going to be doing an online workshop later this week. So on Friday. So I hope you'll join me, and I'm going to teach 4 additional projects. There'll be cards using this lovely grouping of products. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to move this out of the way. So let's start off by doing our scoring. So for the outer part of the box, I've got a piece that is 9" by 1 3/4. Oh, if I didn't mention it, the complete project list with the supply list and cut dimensions is on my website. If you're watching this when I'm premiering, it's live now. If you're not, it's still live now, right? Because you wouldn't be watching the video if it hadn't already gone out. So it is on my website. You can find that. And there is a link in the video description below. All right, so I am going to score this piece of paper at 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 5 3/8, and 5 7/8. Okay, so this is going to be my outer wrap. This is the one we're going to decorate and die cut. Now, I'm going to have an inner box as well. So my inner box is 4.5 by 3 in my measurements. And I am going to score this at, let's change our markers. At 1/2 and 2, 2.5, and 4, okay? So 1/2, 2, 2.5, and 4. And then we need to rotate it and score the bottom at 1/2 inch. All right, perfect. So that's the hardest part of what we're gonna do today is scoring that, right? All right, so let's go ahead and make this box. Just for making it easier for you to see, I'm gonna go ahead and fold and burnish on my score lines. We're gonna do the inner box first. So I'm just folding each of these score lines over. That way I can see them a little bit better as I'm doing my clipping. Okay, so the way I want this box to go is I'm going to have this fold like that. And so I'm going to have my seam towards the back. So this is going to be my front panel. So let's go ahead and put our designer series paper on that front panel. So I have chosen this little green check. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And this piece measures 1 3/8 by 2 3/8. So we're going to go ahead and put that on that front panel. That way we know what we've got going on. Okay. Makes it easy to see, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and clip this and assemble this box. So I'm going to clip here and here. Now I'm going to miter those little tabs, the center skinny tab, right? I want to keep these outer edges straight. Same thing here. I'm going to go in straight and I am going to miter these tabs here, right? So that's going to come around and fold in. Now I don't need this corner at all. So let's go ahead and take that off because we don't need that one. So you need to leave one or the other. It doesn't matter which one you leave. Like I said, you can leave this one here or you can leave this one here, but you only need one of them. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So we will put this together. It goes together super easy. So I am going to put a little bit of adhesive on this tab here. Now you could use liquid glue. You could use tear and tape if you prefer. And I'm just folding this over. Looks like I need to trim off just a smidge. I'm a little bit wide. So let's go ahead and just trim off a little bit. It's okay. Let's see if that's better. So while this is folded flat, I should be able to fold that tab over. It's still a little bit wide. So let's take off just a smidge more. It's okay if this is a little bit shorter than the other side. It won't hurt a thing. We just want to close up this box. All right, there we go. Now we've got it. Okay, perfect. So this is my box front, right? So as I fold this, I want to fold the back in first. And I'm going to fold in these two side tabs. Now I'm going to use liquid glue for these. Just because it's easy with what I'm doing right this moment. Okay, and we'll fold this in and this one in. And then we've got to fold in and glue down this flap. Because of what I'm doing right now, I'm going to go ahead and put liquid glue on here. And hold up for just a moment. We'll put our bone folder in there and try to get that to adhere. All right, so there is my inner box all ready to go. All right, so let's work on the outer wrap here. So we have got our score lines. Let's go ahead and burnish and make sure this is all nice and square on these score lines. And right here too. All right, so let's go ahead and adhere the designer paper to the front. So the lower portion of the box, I have a piece of designer paper that's 1 5/8 by 3 inches, and we're just going to put that on. Isn't that gorgeous paper? It's so pretty. I love the rich colors. It's definitely a more fallish, wintry feel to it. All right, so that's gonna be the box front, and then this is gonna be the part that wraps to the front. So this is 1 5/8 by 1 5/8 that I'm gonna put on that front there. So it's just flipping the paper over, giving it both prints here on this particular one. Great. All right, now the next thing I need to do is I need to die cut my slit for my interlocking mechanism to work. So I am bringing in my trusty tools dies, and I'm going to use this right here. So this is technically a level, but I'm going to use it to create my slit. So I don't normally die cut on camera, but today we need to, right? We need to do it as we go here. So I'm going to bring in my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And let's get my plates. All right. And I'm going to lay the box front down. So this is the front of my box. And I'm going to take this lovely level to create my slit. And I'm going to go right in the center. It does not have to be perfect. If that bothers you and you need it to be perfect, you can measure that out. And then I'm going to put my plate on top and we're going to run this through. Now you may notice I'm not using the standard plate 2 that it says to use. I like to use plate 4, which is technically for embossing, but I feel like I don't have as many issues sliding things through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, when you get into intricate die cutting, it doesn't work that way. You need to use plate 2, but for this, it works fabulous. So now I've got my slit right into that part of the card base. Now, I need to figure out my lid. So let's slide this over for just a moment. I'm going to fold this so that my lid is underneath, and I'm just going to lay this right down. I want to die cut this along that path. I don't know that I want it quite that high up though, so I'm going to come down just a little bit. And I'm going to grab an ink pen because I want to be able to see this. And I am just going to make a mark on either side of that so that I can see where to place my die. Okay. So now I will put this back into my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, laying the lid side up, and I am going to lay this die right on top of where I've placed my marks. And I want it to be, well, I don't want to be too skimpy because the more overlap you have, the better performance you actually have on this box. So I think I'm going to go about there. So I'm a little wider than a 1/2 inch there, but I'm wider here than I am up here. And that's what I was looking for. Okay. So we'll slide my plate on. Hopefully this stays straight and I don't mess this up. And we will slide this through. So the negative of using plate 4 is that you can't see that, right? So if it slid on me, it did. Now I'm not a fan of using Post-it tape and whatnot to hold my things in place. But if you are, that would be a good place to use it. Okay. All right. So we've got our die cutting. Let's go ahead and move that out of our way. We don't need that anymore. All right. And hopefully this lined up well. Let's double check. Yeah, that's going to work great. I love it. All right. So we are ready to go ahead and adhere our little box inside here. So I'm going to use some liquid glue. You could use tear and tape as well. but it's easier to put down if you do it when the box is flat, and I forgot to do it. So we're going to use liquid glue. So I'm going to push up on this bottom here because that's what I want it to be up against. And I'm going to somewhat center it left and right. So I'll push it all the way down to the bottom here. And if it helps for me to set it upright to make sure I'm all the way down, I can do that. And then I'm going to use my bone folder and give that a push. And then I want that to dry. So while that's drying, we'll work on our decoration for the front. So I'm going to use my 1 3/4 circle punch, and I've just got a scrap of Pretty Peacock. And we'll cut out 2 circles. So our punches, if you've not used our punches before, they do come locked and closed, right? So when you get them to use them, you have to unlock them to expand. Paper goes in the smaller end and you squeeze on this side. Another really great feature of our punches is that if you've got arthritis, which I do, you can lean on the punches, right? So you don't even have to squeeze it with your hand. And then when you're done, you just lock it and you can put it away, no problems. Takes up a little less space that way. Okay, so next I'm gonna bring back in my sophisticated sled. Let's bring in those dies. So I've already die cut some pieces out of this. So let's dump some of this out here. So we've got these adorable ice skates. So I've done those in some scraps of Very Vanilla. Okay. And then we've got the blades. And so I've cut these out of gold foil. Kind of fun. And then you've got your laces for your skates, which are this one right here, and it's going to cut out both at the same time. So I've done this in Blackberry Bliss. Now, I happen to have a scrap that had adhesive sheet on the back, and I went ahead and chose to use that because it's going to make it super easy for me to assemble this. So you could cut out the blades with adhesive sheet on the back as well. That would be really nice. I did not do that in this instance, but you totally could, and it would make this a little bit easier. All right, so I'm going to start off, I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to remove the adhesive sheet backing paper. Well, I say I'm going to. We'll see how it goes, right? I want to remove that. Now, a lot of times, all these little bits will come out with the pull of that paper. If not, you can poke them out with your piercing tool. You can also poke them out with your die brush, right? You've got a die brush attachment to our Take Your Pick that works fantastic. All right. The first time I did this, I just laid it right on top. But I realized this has a slit in it. It's intended for this to slide inside there. Who knew that? I did not know that. I don't always know these things. These dies don't come with instructions, right? We got to figure this stuff out on our own. And thank goodness somebody else figured it out and shared it, because then I now know. All right, but having that adhesive sheet on there really kind of secures those laces right onto that skate. Isn't that adorable? I love it. I just love it. So I'm going to take the backing paper off this one as well. Maybe we'll get lucky and all the bits will come out. Most of them. Just push that against my fingers and those will come off. Okay, and then we're going to slide this in that slit as well. Cute, super cute, super cute, super cute. All right, so I've got my 2 skate bodies, and then I want to add the blades. Now, I did not put adhesive sheet on the back of the gold foil. Would have been a good idea. Would have totally been a good idea, but I did not. So I am just going to put some drops of glue on here. Well, I say I'm going to. And we will adhere that down. So hopefully you guys know this already. I've told you this, right? Our liquid glue, this Tombow liquid glue, actually dries tacky. So it is still sticky. What I mean by that is it's still sticky when it dries. So you could literally let this dry completely, put it together, and then you don't have your glue ooze that you will sometimes have otherwise. So I'm going to let that sit for just a moment. Hopefully I don't make a big mess of it in the interim. We'll let that sit for just a moment. I can go ahead and start working on my ribbon. So I'm going to take about 10 inches of ribbon. So let's just kind of guess about that much. Sounds good. And I'm going to clip off that. And then I'm this is a pretty chunky fat ribbon, so I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to use all of it, but I want to cut it in half. So I'm just cutting up the center. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered as you cut this, but I'm literally just cutting the ribbon apart. And then you could choose to use just half, or you can choose to use the whole thing. It's entirely up to you. But my hope is that this is going to give me just enough time to let that glue dry a smidge. There we go. All right, so my ribbon is cut in half. I love the little gold edge. So I'm going to layer these together. And then we're going to tie our bow. So I'm going to make my 2 loops. Crisscross applesauce. One goes down in the hole and back out. And then I can pull that tight. Now, you can play with this as much or as little as you want to, right? So if you hold the knot and pull the legs, then you can make your loops a little smaller, right? Without it loosening all up. And then you can pull the loops back out, which kind of helps you get it how you want it to be, right? So again, you just play with it until you're happy with how it looks. My arthritis is acting up a little bit today. All right, so pretty happy with them. I'll separate these loops a little, kind of fluff it up, I guess you could say. Nice. I think that's a little bit longer on that side than I want. And then now I can just trim these ends, and I'm going to angle cut these as I go here. Okay, and one more. Do it without cutting off the whole ribbon. There we go. So now I've got a beautiful bow to add to my card front here. Love it, love it, love it, love it. All right, so I think we let enough time go by that we can add our blades right onto our skates, right? Now, you won't like that ribbon technique if you don't like ribbon that frays, right? Because I'm cutting those fibers apart, look, this is what happens to me when I use liquid glue. Parts stick to me. But it will fray your ribbon. I think that's kind of a fun, trendy look, but if that bothers you, then don't do it, right? It's not what you want to do. Okay, so our box should have dried enough that I think I can start building these mechanisms here. So I know that I want a circle on the inside, and the purpose of this circle is really just to keep this box, or to keep the slider from coming off the box, right? And if I don't want the circle to come up any higher, I can lay it aligned here and make sure that when I put my adhesive, it's there so it won't come up any higher, right? And then we can fold this down and put it down as well. But here's the deal. I cut this shorter than that. So that's not always going to work. So you can either slide it down a little bit further, or you can just simply cut the top of that off, which is fine as well. So I think I am going to slide it down just a little bit more. So I want to make sure I'm covering that. But let's come down just a smidge more. I'm going to close this up, right? I'm going to close this up, kind of hold that in place for me. And then I want to take some foam adhesive, right? Whoops, that's not foam adhesive. It is foam adhesive, but I want the strips. I want the little strip of foam adhesive. There we go. So I've got a little piece right here. So this comes in a long sheet. I am obviously using it shorter than how it comes. Let's double check this and make sure this placement is right again. So again, I want to cover the hole 100%, close up my box, close down my lid so that it's all nice and tight. And I want to place this little foam right there in that slit. So again, that's not going to allow this to go up any higher than it is right here when it's closed here. But look, on the inside, it's totally going to allow it to slide up higher. But I'm not seeing much of my circle. I did pretty darn good on that. So not too bad, right? I think it looks good. All right. Putting it back in. I'm just sliding it back in so I know to close this. Now, I can place this other circle right on top of this, and they don't have to necessarily be sandwiched together. I do want to cover the top of my slit, right? But I don't have to put it up quite as high as my other circle is underneath, right? I can do it down lower. So I actually want a little bit more of that purple showing on the outside. And then this is going to cover a little bit more on the outside. Although the colors work really well and you don't really see it. But what happens is this slides up and down. So now I can take my lid off or I can close my lid. Isn't that great? Super cool, right? So let's add our candies in there. I'm going to steal them from my other one. So I can add my candies in there. So let's finish off the inside while we're here. So I've got a label that I've die cut with the iconic imagery dies. This little label here. Love it, love it, love it. So that's just out of a scrap of Very Vanilla. And I'm pulling in the sentiment Let It Snow from the Sophisticated Sled stamp set. And we're going to stamp this in Blackberry Bliss. Super cute, super cute, super cute. All right, so I've got that. And because this is on the inside of my box, I'm going to put this down flat. So a little bit of liquid glue. You could use Stampin' Seal as well. I think on some of these shapes, I think liquid glue, these little pieces in these shapes, liquid glue is a little easier to work with. And I'm putting it up a little higher just to make sure that when my box is closed, I'm not going to see that through, right? Cute. All right, so now we can put this on, close our lid. Adorable, absolutely adorable. And now we can decorate this. So I'm going to put these ice skates on and have them look like, you know, I just got my skates. I'm taking them with me, right? So I could do them both kind of angled down. I could mix and match them like that. It's however you want to place your pieces. So I think I'm going to make this one kind of straight and this one a little more angled. So let's grab some dimensionals. I think I'm going to grab my minis. Let's grab some minis. Now, if you have black ones might be nice. I don't know that that's critical, but I am going to go ahead and put dimensionals on this one. So just a few. And remove that backing paper. I think this is so stinking cute. And we'll put our first skate, how about right down there? Now, I want to overlap my second skate, right? And it's going to be a little bit more of an angle. And I do want this popped up. So I think I'm going to start off with a big Stampin' Dimensional. Why not? Why not? Because it's okay if it goes off to the side, right? It's okay if they overlap because I do want this to pop up higher than the other skate. All right, so those cover pretty darn good. Now, so that'll be great over here, but I want some stability over here as well. So let me take this off and I can stack a small dimensional on the outside here. And if I want to make sure this heel is nice and secure as well, let's double stack the small ones over in that heel. So this means that our outer edge is stacked up taller, right? You can see that, I hope, than this left side. So now when I go to overlap these, I just need to make sure that outer edge is outside of this first skate. I hope that makes sense. I think that's adorable. Absolutely adorable. Okay, let's grab our glue dots and finish this one off with our bow. So I'm just going to put it on with some glue dots. I'm going to grab a couple of them. Okay. And let me separate those loops again. They didn't stay separated the way I wanted them. I'll just pull them apart so that when I glue dot it on, if it holds anything in place, that's great. And so I can just slide this right on there. Now, if you're afraid you're putting on too much pressure, slide your box opener down and give that a good squeeze when you're dealing with just the single layer, right? And then now, again, I can put this right back on and slide that up. Oh, it's harder to see. Harder to see with my bow on there. All right, what's it doing? I didn't have any issues before. What do I have going on? Oh, I think I'm trying to slide the wrong thing. There we go. I don't know what I did. All right, super cute. It bothers me these loops are not staying separate. I want those loops separate. I'm going to force them to stay separate. There we go. Better. Much better. I want all those loops. I want all that going on. It's fun. It's festive. Cute, right? Who wouldn't love to get something like this in the mail? I think it's fantastic. I hope that you guys will give this one a try. All right. And don't forget, join me Friday for our online workshop. It's free to come join. I will have an order special so that you can get the project kits if you'd like them. But it'll be a good time, just a little paper crafting together and a sneak peek of new products. Yay. Love that, right? All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And I hope to see you again next Tuesday. Bye for now.